Hey, Shook. Welcome to the latest episode of the Melanin Mayhem podcast, hosted by your favorite country girl, Renee Davis. If this is your first time in the Mayhem pool, we welcome you with open arms and piping hot tea about some of the most audacious and diabolical melanated criminals and their serial shenanigans that you may have never heard about. And if you have heard about them, you ain't heard the story the way I tell it, baby. Oh no, honey. Because my mission in life is to make sure that you and your peoples know that it's a myth that it's crimes that black people don't commit. Because, honey, we are doing all kinds of criminalistic shenanigans, honey, and you better be up on game so you don't get got. Ooh, but baby, I gotta talk to my loves, honey. Hey, New Orleans Nation. Have y'all recovered from last week's Love Kills? I know I fucked y'all up with that one, didn't I? When you think about the types of crimes that black people don't be out here doing, leading a cult and incest, that's definitely top 5 of the oh hell no list. But you know we do. Y'all been with me long enough to know that we out here with our fingers in all kinds of criminalistic endeavors. And today, I got a story about a crime that is right there in that top 5 list, right under cults and incest, honey. I got a story for you today that is about a series of crimes that had the nation as a whole in fear and clutching our collective pearls. Honey, yeah, this tale today should be something that many of us remember. And if you're like me, you're going to be shocked and amazed that our mayhem makers pulled the shit that they did and almost got away with it. We going in, honey, and when I'm done, all you gonna be able to say is So let me bring these two criminaling motherfuckers to the front of the congregation so we can talk about the niggatry and fuckery of it all. This week's Melanin Mayhem makers are Mr. John Allen Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo, aka the DC Snipers. All right, New Orleans Nation, let's get into it, honey. Lee Boyd Malvo was born February 18th, 1985 in Kingston, Jamaica. His mama, Una James, she was a teen mom, and his dad, Leslie Malvo, was damn near 40. And I couldn't really find if he was in or out for a fact, but I'm gonna go with out, because the picture was given that Una was much younger and she eventually left altogether. And you know, Kingston was and is rough, but Una did the best that she could, and Lee was a good child. They say he was respectful and polite, and he managed to not get caught up in any street shit. But that's because he was young. As he got older, Una knew it was only a matter of time before the bullshit would start, so she decided that she was gonna leave Kingston, right? And so they bounced around for a few places. They ended up in Antigua for a while, and apparently they run into a man named John and his kids. They strike up a friendship, and John is telling them about how good America would be for them or whatever. And so Una decides that they're gonna come to the U.S. for a better life for her and her son. And, you know, that's a pretty normal migrant story, you know. So Una, she started talking with some people who knew some people that could get her to Miami if she had them ends and dividends. And so Una did what she had to do, and the next thing you know, her and Lee on a cargo ship in 2001. Their first stop is Miami. That's where they get off the ship at, in Miami. They end up migrating to Washington State. And one of the first people that they run into is that nice man named John Allen Muhammad that they had met in Antigua. Well, would you look at God? They here off the boat, and now they running into a friendly face. That's good stuff, right? Well, let's see. Let me tell you about this other dude. John Allen Williams was born December 31st, 1960 in Baton Rouge. And we don't know much about his parents except that his mama, she died when he was young, when he was around 4 or 5, and his aunties and granddaddy raised him. Now, John got 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and basically his childhood was a good country one. You know, go-karts and bicycles, playing ball in the street, you know. They say that John was one of the good guys. You know, he was the one that would stand up for the kids that got bullied bullied. He had a big old heart and would give you the shirt off his back. When he graduated from high school, he enlisted in the Louisiana National Guard around August 1978, and that would basically be the start of a 16-year military career. And while he was in the military, his commanding officers from that time, they described John as a natural-born leader, had $1 million smile, and was liked by all. He also had a little bit of a crash out problem, a couple of times. Got him court-martialed once or twice, but he was a good dude. And also during this time, John would have gotten married to his first wife, a woman named Carol Williams. Her and John, they had one child together before they get divorced in 1979. And so John, he went on to join the Army November 6, 1985, and he also converted to Islam during this time. And of course, next up was to change his name from John Allen Williams to John Allen Muhammad, and this happened around 1987. So while he's in the Army, he's serving in the Gulf War, amongst other places, and he eventually gets out of the Army in 1995. By now, he's married for the second time, this time to a woman named Mildred. They got hitched in 1988, and him and Mildred, they got 3 kids together, a boy and 2 girls. I'm gonna tell you, John was what you would call a resourceful guy, right? He was the kind of dude who figured out how to get the job done, whatever the job, for most things. But when he first got out of the military, he decided he was going to be a businessman, and he opened up a martial arts studio. That didn't pan out too well. So then he opened up a mobile mechanic service, and that didn't pan out too well either. And somewhere around 1999, his marriage went to hell in a handbasket. You see, sometimes a successful marriage, it depends on one spouse being away more than they're at home. Up close and personal every day, honey. Sometimes that shit opens your eyes to the fact that this motherfucker is not the one. And at least that's how it was for Mildred. She says that she became his ex-wife because he was two-sided, bipolar, if you will. I'm talking about the love bombing of it all. So loving, so attentive, and then threatened to cut her damn water off completely and mean that shit. And then he stopped being two-sided, and it was all just him being one mean motherfucker. And so she told the police in March of 2000, when she was trying to get a restraining order, that John had the ability and the drive to make good on all his threats. And just so you know, John can make a weapon out of anything. Like I said, resourceful. Just not always in a good way. But John was mad about that goddamn restraining order. And to punish Mildred for that, baby, tell me why he snatched up the children and dipped with their asses. Mildred don't know where her babies was, and he was on some "you ain't gonna never see them again" type of bullshit. Y'all, this Negro went to Antigua with them kids and kept them from Mildred for more than 15 months. When he was in Antigua, that's when he ran into Malvo and his mama for the first time. He was over there on some kidnapping of his own children, according to somebody else's children. Lord Jesus. He stayed gone, and then he sneaks back to Washington, him and the kids, and tell me why they living in a homeless shelter. Sir, they got a whole ass mama with a whole ass place to stay. They do not need to be living in no goddamn homeless shelter. You know what I'm saying? But some kind of way, Mildred found out that they was back. And I'm sure it's because one of her children got to school and made a phone call. "Hey, mama, we here. You gonna come get us so we can come see our room?" You know how children are. And so when Mildred found out that the children were in Bellingham, Washington, she called the police. Oh yes, honey. And she had the Bellingham Police Department go snatch her children up while they was at school on August 31st, 2001. I ain't mad at you, Mildred. Use the law. Serve and protect. That's what they here for. Serve me by going to go get my children, and protect me by keeping this crazy motherfucker off of me. Cause baby, to say that nigga was pissed, honey, that nigga was pissed to the highest point of pistivity. How dare this bitch go and bring the police in to take my kids that I took from her away from me? The nerve. So he all up in court talking about Mildred was the one that had taken the children illegally, that she was the one that upped and dipped with the children so that he couldn't see them. And then this nigga had the audacity to say that he had to hire a private detective to find them. This nigga is crazy. Like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, baby. The whole time that he had the children, he was calling Mildred, threatening to kill her ass. He had this woman about to lose her mind. But now you all up in the courthouse playing victim. Ooh, that's some nasty work right there, honey. Ooh, that's some nasty work right there. The courts, they sided with Mildred and they gave her full custody and told John to stay his crazy ass far, far away, honey, from all of them. Well, when John wasn't threatening to kidnap his kids again, he was legit still trying to make Mildred's life hell. And so she got her shit and ran because she knew in her bones this man was going to kill her ass and a piece of paper wasn't going to stop him. So she get a divorce. She already had custody of the kids and they hit the Underground Railroad, baby, and didn't look back because they wanted to make sure John could not find them. But remember I told you, John a resourceful man, military trained. If he want to find somebody, he can. And he did. Okay, so it's October 2001. And this is when John and Lee, they crossed paths for the first time again. Because you see, when Lee and his mama, when they got to Washington, they didn't have anywhere to go or anybody to go be with, right? So they ended up living at a homeless mission, which is the same shelter where John still happens to be a resident at too, because, you know, he took a hit to his pockets and his pride during the divorce, you know? And so they all pick up where they left off in Antigua. You got to look at it. John is an American citizen. He going through some things, right? He looking for a family. And here go Una and her teenage son. They here illegally, fresh off the boat. They ain't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Shit, that was peanut butter, meat, and jelly all day long. John, he looking out for Lee. So maybe at first, I'm thinking that Una was feeling like, you know what? No matter what, this dude got my son back. And Lee was always with John. And Una was around in some sense, maybe peripherally or whatnot, but I'm thinking something must have changed in how she viewed John. And I'm saying that because in 2001, you know, just like now in 2001, being an illegal immigrant would get you detained if you ever had any interactions with the authorities. And it did for Una and Lee because they got arrested by Border Patrol. You see, what had happened was Una and John got into it. Now, please tell me, why would this woman who don't know nobody and is trying to keep a low profile get to going at it with her support system? Maybe because he was overstepping his boundaries with her son and shit got heated. You know how that shit can go, you know what I'm saying? You ain't his dad, the type of situation. And the people at the homeless shelter, they must have thought the shit was finna come to blows or something because they ended up calling the police. And when the police get there, of course, you know what they do? Let me see your ID. John got one. Una and Lee, they don't. And so they get arrested on December 19th, 2001. Now, they stayed in immigrant jail for a little minute, too. And definitely from this point on, Una is out of the picture. And this is also where it seems that John fully steps into the stepdaddy role of it all because, quiet as it's kept, it's his name that's listed on the INS paperwork for Lee Malvo as his custodial guardian. And I think because of this, that's how Lee was able to get out of migrant jail in February of 2002. But his mama was still hemmed up. Shit, John, why you ain't say that you was Una's husband or some shit? Oh, that's right. You ain't studying no women right now. So here we got Lee, all alone, a minor in a strange land. Now, I also want to make it clear, I ain't making no excuses for this nigga, but you don't have to have taken psychology classes to see that John, having been removed from his own children's life, was looking for a surrogate to be his kid. And Lee didn't have nobody, so he took him under his wing, and that might have been fine if John didn't have vengeance in his heart and a master plan on his mind and a naive teenager willing to do anything he asked. Well, shit, Nate, what's the master plan? You can't just leave us hanging like that. I know, just give me a sec. I was just about to tell you. You see, we not gonna wait to the end when he gets captured to get to the why and all that. We gonna talk about that shit right now. So when I run down this list of mayhem, you can understand the magnitude of this motherfucking plan. You see, the plan, it had 3 phases. Phase 1 was going to be a month of randomly shooting people all across the country. Phase 2, they were going to step it up a notch. They were going to start setting off explosive devices, killing children as well as police officers. And then when the police had their funeral, they was going to set off some more. Ooh, this nigga wanted to kill everybody, didn't he? And then during phase 2, they was also going to demand from the U.S. government that they give them millions of dollars to stop the mayhem. And then John was going to use that money to build a training camp for these parentless children to become part of his militia. And then phase 3 was going to be he killed his ex-wife and took his children. Yes, honey, you heard me. 3 phases. Ain't that some crazy shit? Now, let's be honest. We peoples, right? We talk like this, right? Be truthful. If a motherfucker just walked up to you and told you that this was the plan that somebody had, you would have thought, first and foremost, that these were the terroristic thoughts of a flower ranger. Be honest. Because, come on now, black folks don't go around shooting people sniper style. That's the work of the sour creamians. And black folks don't blow shit up. That's what the paper plate nation do. And black men for sure don't go around actively trying to recruit other people's children to come be with them. That's for sure some salt gang activities. But yet and still, that was the plan of a whole ass black man, a FBA. That's also the beauty of this plan, because who would ever believe that a black man could or would be capable of doing this foolishness? But he did. And I'm going to tell you how he pulled off almost all of this plan. Now, unless you was born in the 2000s, you probably heard about the DC snipers. And maybe you think you know the story. Maybe you don't. Because, I don't know, the nickname DC snipers, that implies that all the sniping took place in DC. But it didn't. The DC shootings didn't happen until later in the year of 2002. But the killations and the attempted killations, that shit started in February of 2002. These niggas went cross country with this bullshit. And it all started February 16th, 2002, when 21-year-old Kenya Cook was shot and killed by Lee Malvo in front of her auntie house in Tacoma, Washington. Now, Kenya ain't as random as some of the other victims, though, that we're going to talk about. Not at all. You see, Kenya's auntie, Issa, the lady whose house that she was at when she got shot, yeah, her auntie. Well, Issa was good Judy to Muhammad's ex-wife. And Issa, being such a good Judy, told Muhammad's wife that she needed to dump that puss-ass nigga of a husband because she could do better. And Muhammad wasn't appreciative of that bullshit. So he was getting a little payback by shooting her niece. Did you know about that one? Well, guess what? I ain't through. I got a whole lot to tell you. On March 19th, we're talking a month later, 60-year-old Jerry Taylor, he caught one in the chest while he was hitting balls on a golf course in Tucson, Arizona. Kind of like the preceding shooting, though, if you look a little deeper. Yeah, Jerry was random, but I think it was practice or the beginning of phase 1. Because you see, Muhammad's sister lived right around the way from the golf course. And John Muhammad was there visiting this sister. You might say that he was killing 2 birds with 1 stone, pun totally intended, because he was visiting his sister and letting off a little lead in somebody's ass. Jerry went on to glory fuck around with these niggas, and we ain't through. For the next 4 months and some change, these niggas lay low. Sniper, no sniping. But I think they was preparing, though. I think they was scoping out places, planning out routes, and getting ready to set that shit all the way off, because that's exactly what the fuck they did. Starting again on August 1st, 2002, same year, a couple of months later. 51-year-old John Gator, he had a flat tire. He got out the car, got the spare out the trunk, and he is in the process of changing his tire in a parking lot in Hammond, Louisiana. Next thing you know, a motherfucker done shot him in the neck. Now, I'm going to have to tell you kudos to Mr. John Gator, because that man played his part like a motherfucking G. He laid there like he was dead when Lee Malvo ran up on him to steal his wallet. Soon as Lee dipped, John Gator jumped up and ran into the gas station for help. Honey, let me tell you something. When it ain't your time, it ain't your motherfucking time, because that bullet went through one side of his neck and out the other. When he went to the hospital, they didn't even keep him long, honey. They say that nigga was in and out in less than an hour. Come through, Black Jesus. Yes, indeed, honey. But then the following month, September 5th, 2002, 55-year-old Paul LaRuffa, he was closing up for the day at his pizza restaurant in Clinton, Maryland. Now, it's like 10:30 at night, and Paul is ready to go home and get comfortable, pull his shoes off, scratch his balls, maybe get his drink on or whatever. And he's locking the door when a motherfucker ran up on him and shot him 6 times point blank. Ooh, child, honey, but let me tell you, this is the praying grandmother's episode, honey, because he too was on the stairway to heaven, but it wasn't his time. Honey, old Paul lived to tell the story of how he made it through. But then 2 weeks later, September 14th, 22-year-old Benny Oberroy had a little gig at a liquor store in Silver Spring, Maryland. Now, he doing what 22-year-olds do when they at work, which is not work, right? He out back bullshitting or whatever. Next thing you know, he is shot in the back. Now I can't tell if they're practicing or they just bad shots. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am not advocating for randomly running around and putting a bullet in a motherfucker. But at the same time, if you gonna be randomly running around putting bullets in motherfuckers, you should be nice with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Shit, I'm just saying. And quiet as it's kept, John Allen Muhammad, when he was in the military, that nigga was nice when it came to that marksmanship shit, and so it's in my mind, when the shots was misses, I think Malvo was shooting. And when the shot was true, I think Muhammad was shooting. What y'all think? We can talk about that shit on social media later on this week. We'll see. But anyway, back to the story. Like I said, I'm just saying. Now, I also know that these niggas clearly like to fuck around at the liquor store, because the next attack happened the next damn day, September 15th, when Muhammad Rashid caught a bullet while closing the doors at the Three Rose liquor store in Brandywine, Maryland. Damn, Muhammad, them praying grandmothers is on the line to Jesus, though, because, honey, this man did not die, honey. He was truly being offense. Come through, Black Jesus. Come through. Now, okay, let's break it down. Up until this point, we got 2 killations and 4 almost killations. And these niggas ain't even got to the main part yet, because remember, they called the DC snipers and we ain't got to that part of the story yet. But as you can see, these niggas was place to place, just busting caps in motherfuckers and keeping it pushing. And that's literally what you would call a domestic terrorist right there, right? You got people scared of that motherfucker that they gonna get got because y'all just riding around getting it. Like, what the fuck? Wherever they rolled, somebody got shot. Guess what? Y'all, they rolled down to the A on September 21st. Now, again, what the fuck did Atlanta do to anybody? We ain't got nothing to do with DC or nothing, but of course, everything come through the A. Of course, they had to come down here and do a little shenanigan when 41-year-old Million Walder Marion, ooh, that's a name, Million Walder Marion. Well, Million, he was doing his job at a goddamn liquor store, closing up, calling it a night, and damn if practice ain't made perfect, because Million caught a slug to the dome, took that nigga from million to 0 with 1 shot. Nasty business right there, baby. Later on that same day, though, I'm thinking the niggas must have jumped on 20 and headed to Alabama after they fucked up Million. Baby, them wildin' ass niggas, they ended up in Montgomery, Alabama. Now, they're going from snipers to robbers, because this time they run up in another liquor store and make the chicks in the store lay it down. Well, they shot Claudine Parker in the chest, turned her water off. And her coworker, she got a bullet to the neck. Man, these motherfuckers love shoot motherfuckers in the neck. Like, what is it? Protect your neck for real in this episode. That's a real thing. But baby, the grannies for Jesus was still doing what they do, because our girl, Kelly Adams, the coworker, she is still yet holding on. Now, while she may have lived and her coworker died, the Montgomery robbery shooting is gonna be the crime, y'all, that's gonna bust this whole thing wide open. But it's gonna take a minute, all right? I just wanted to drop that little pin right there and let you know that we're gonna come back to this one. So, the niggas, they leave Montgomery and keep it criminal. Like, for real. If these niggas had a theme song, I truly believe it'd be I'm riding around, I'm getting it. I'm riding around, I'm getting it. I'm riding around, I'm getting it. Honey, these dudes do not stay long nowhere, and you know those are the hardest crimes to solve. When the perpetrator ain't from the area, they don't stick around and they don't leave no evidence. Nothing but the motherfucking bullets that they keep leaving in people. Ooh, honey. But then, September 23rd, 45-year-old hung on Bollinger. Hung on balling, girl. I love it when somebody's name sound like some country shit my ass would say. Remember the man whose name sounded like Boo Boo Kitty? Y'all know I'm silly. Well, Hung got thonged to the dome and he ain't balling no more, girl. Nope. Hung on to the upper room, shot his ass in Baton Rouge. This nigga went home to shoot somebody. You see that wherever the car stopped, we just shoot some people. And you all thought that you knew all about these sniping ass niggas, right? Because we ain't even got to DC yet, and 11 motherfuckers done caught a stray in a 7-month period. We talking 7 people in the last 30 days. Did y'all know about any of this part of the story? Because I'm sorry, my ass didn't remember hearing about none of this. But here we are, just now about to get to the DC sniping of it all. For this portion of the crimes in the DMV, I will be including times when all the shit went down, because baby, when I tell you they came and they got it and they was riding around and they were getting it, that's what the fuck they was doing, honey. For the DMV portion of all of the criming, it started on October 2nd, 2020 at 5:20 p.m. when a bullet went through the windows of a Michael's store in Aspen Hill that's right outside of DC. That shit almost took out the cashier, but I told y'all that this is the praying grandmother episode, honey, because the window was the only casualty of this shooting. But this was just the first shot across the bow. Baby, they finna come hot and heavy for the next couple of hours. So an hour later, at 6:04 p.m., 55-year-old James Martin was walking in Wheaton, Maryland. He gets shot. Baby, somebody said that they saw a white box truck driving a little too fast. Maybe that was the suspect. The next day, October 3rd, at 7:41 in the morning, 39-year-old James Buchanan, he out cutting grass. He got a little job he do at a local car dealership cutting their grass. Baby, he is shot and killed. This happens in Flint, Maryland. 45 minutes later, at 8:12 a.m., Prem Kumar is out driving his cab. He stopped to get gas in Rockville, Maryland. He gets popped at pump 3. But we ain't stopping, because not 30 minutes later, at 8:37 a.m., 34-year-old Sarah Ramos, she running into the post office. She catch one to the dome from long range in Silver Spring, Maryland. Still not through. We gonna go about an hour. It's all quiet, but then at 9:58, 25-year-old Lori Ann Lewis Rivera is vacuuming her car out at a gas station in Kensington, Maryland. She catch a stray too. Montgomery County losing their shit. DC, high alert. And the feds and everybody have been called in. They have formed a supercalifragilisticexpialidocious task force because, baby, in a 13-hour period, 5 people, strangers, no connections, none whatsoever, just going about their regular ass lives, have been shot. And the goddamn shooters are here. Ooh, Lord, the terror of it all. Honey, the FBI profilers, they come in and they do what they do, make the profile, and they say, you know what? We're looking for a white man. He's going to be the sniper McSnipe Man. And now they just got to find him. But it's been quiet. Ain't nobody been shot since like 10 o'clock this morning. We done made it through lunch, bullet free. Dinner come and go, and everybody still got the same amount of holes that they started with. Maybe he gone. Can we go outside? Nope. At 9:20 p.m., somebody did run outside right quick and woke up with Jesus. 72-year-old Pascal Charlotte, he was shot in the neck. Or what I always say, protect your neck. As you can see, it was a lot of necks getting got in this episode. Protect y'all neck, man. That's some real shit. Now, the witnesses who saw Pascal Charlotte get got, they say it was either a white Chevy Astro van or a burgundy Caprice that might be the getaway vehicle. Okay, so let's get this straight. We got a white box truck, a white Astro van, or a burgundy Caprice as the vehicles that the white sniper McSnipe Man is getting away in, if you believe the witnesses. Okay. Well, the next day come, October 4th, and all is quiet. Nobody moved, nobody gets hurt. We make it through the morning without an incident. The supercalifragilisticexpialidocious task force has figured out that the people that got shot yesterday were shot with the same gun as all the rest of the victims that we didn't know about. Shit! This white man has got to be stopped. That's what they're saying. Now, the people outside of D.C., they thought that they was a little bit safer. You know what I'm saying? Out there in the country. Because, the criminal is closer to D.C., so they was still out there moving around a little bit. Like this lady in Spotsylville County, Virginia. She was at the mall trying to get a little retail therapy on to forget that there was a sniper McSnipe Man out here on the loose. Well, baby, at 2:30 p.m., she is shot right outside the mall. Now, the police, they link her shooting to the rest of them. And this is for evidentiary purposes because we all know that these cases are linked at this point, But why they got the bullets, that's all they got. That and the fact that this is a white man that has got to be stopped. So Snipe Man has taken a couple of days off. And then he popped back up on the scene October 7th at 8:08 a.m. Because, the early bird gets shot, or however the saying go. And today, we're in Bowie, Maryland, and a child is the victim of a stray. Yeah, honey, a middle schooler headed into school gets shot in the chest. Ooh, he hurt bad. But he had a praying grandmother. And baby, the praying grandmothers have been on their knees for 3 weeks straight, doing what they do. And this boy lives, honey. He lives to go on and experience life. We know it's the same shooter, the diabolical white sniper McSnipe Man. Only this time, he left a little something to fuck with the authorities. He left a tarot card. And y'all know, y'all might not know, but I don't fuck with that mystical shit. You know what I'm saying? My God is a jealous God, and I ain't trying to block my blessings or his grace. I don't fuck with them, so I don't know nothing about no tarot cards. But this particular card was the death card, and they wrote something on it. They wrote, "Dear policeman, I am God." See, would you look at this shit? Ain't that some bullshit? And of course, the police are pissed. They don't like to be taunted. You know what I mean? How dare this white sniper McSnipe Man be out here taunting us? Wait till we catch this white man. And so they go about it. They putting out rewards for anybody who know anything about this white sniper McSnipe Man that's out here shooting people out willy-nilly. Call us. Let us know. We have a reward for you. Okay. So now that the children are fair game, the schools, they don't close, but they turn into mini prisons. The children have to stay inside and away from windows and try not to get shot. Ooh, Jesus be offense. That's too much. Now, every law enforcement man in the land is looking for this white man. But I want to tell you this. How about on October 8th, police actually come up on John and Lee sleeping in the car in Baltimore. But they don't fit the profile though. They was just two niggas sleep in a Caprice. The cops gave John a warning and went on about their day. Now, they actually had the actual sniper McSnipe Man in front of them. But black people don't commit these types of crimes, These are just some homeless ass niggas. Oh, they definitely not capable of masterminding and pulling off a crime to this magnitude. Okay. But wait, there's more. In 2002, street cameras and shit are a whole thing. And they have been running the cameras and the license plate readers looking for the white man in the white truck. And they have come across this blue Caprice, same tag, at least 3 times in various places in D.C., including one time in Fairfax County right after somebody caught a bullet in their ass. And they see this Caprice burning through a red light like a devil on their ass, right? But it's some niggas in that car. And even though they in the right place at the right time, that's not our man. Okay. Keep on running with that. The next day on October 9th, another man, 53-year-old Dean Myers, he is pumping gas and gets a bullet to the dome at 8:18 in the morning in Manassas, Virginia. And yeah, we know it's linked to the others. Curse you, Mr. White Sniper McSnipe Man. That's what the police saying. This time, the witnesses are saying that it's a white van. So the police, they throw up some roadblocks and shit, but you know how that ended, right? So a couple of days go by, nobody moved, nobody get hurt. And then on October 11th at 9:30 in the morning, another man, 53-year-old Kenneth Bridges, gets shot at Pump 3, this time in Spotsylvania. That's the 8th person in 10 goddamn days. Now, I don't know a lot, but I do know this. I wouldn't have been getting no more goddamn gas, period, point blank, because motherfuckers is getting got at the gas pump. Fuck that car. And that gas. Fuck it all. I ain't even going outside. Man, Spotsylvania don't know what to do after this man gets shot. They stand around with their dicks in their hands because they ain't got shit to go on. But to make them feel like they were doing some shit, they threw up a couple of roadblocks and put up some barricades and all that. Man, that shit ain't do shit, clearly, because I still got more story to tell. A whole hell of a lot more story. This gonna be a long-ass episode. Now, the parents are keeping their kids home from school. The schools are canceling the football games, and the homecomings are 86, and parks and playgrounds, they ghost towns, and ain't nobody coming outside because it's dangerous out there. And then the next day, on the 12th, the police, they release a sketch of a white truck that witnesses say that they saw the other day at the gas station. So everybody be on the lookout for this white truck with the white sniper McSnipe Man in it, okay? That's what we're looking for. 2 days later, on the 14th at 9:15 at night, 47-year-old Linda Franklin gets shot outside of the Home Depot in Fairfax County, Virginia. I guess them roadblocks and barricades in Spotsylvania County didn't do no good, huh? And oh yeah, we know she was shot by the same white sniper McSnipe Man in the white truck, okay? And they got this white man who talking about he seen everything. I seen it all. He out here giving descriptions and shit of who did it. Man, this motherfucker ain't seen nothing. He just wanted some damn attention. The FBI say we looking for a white sniper McSnipe Man, even if we don't know what the motherfucker look like, okay? Everybody look for the white man. Well, because they don't know shit and they ain't got shit, on October 16th, they call up the military and ask for an assist. They was like, hey, can you put some planes up and let us know if you see anything? Clearly, they didn't. We still looking for the white sniper McSnipe Man. Well, on the 17th, the police, they try to come up with a sketch of the white sniper McSnipe Man, but they was just like, fuck it, because you know what? Ain't nobody really seen shit. But then they get a phone call from the white sniper McSnipe Man, and the white sniper McSnipe Man on the phone is telling them, you need to look at what I did in Montgomery, Alabama. Wait a minute, white sniper McSnipe Man, why you snitching on yourself? I just don't get that. Why do some of these criminals feel the need to be like, hey, you didn't know nothing about this that had anything to do with me? Go look over here, because that was my shit too. Somebody needs to explain how criminaling works. It don't work like that. That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. The next day, on the 18th, Snipe Man calls a Catholic priest and tells him that he fucked up some chicks in Montgomery. Laid it all out for him. Again, sir, that's not how this works. And I don't think that you can do confession over the phone. Clearly, the priest didn't think that either, because as soon as he hung up, he called the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious task force and was like, hey, I just got this phone call. This nigga say y'all need to look in Alabama because he did some shit down there. And the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious task force was like, okay, we kind of heard that. We're going to look into it. Thank you. Well, 2 days later, on the 19th, a man is shot outside of the Ponderosa Steakhouse in Ashland, Virginia. But he, too, had a praying grandmother. And sure enough, she was on the main line, because Brother Man is still in the land of the living. Praise God. Ooh, hiko shatala. Ha! Yes, Jesus. But at the same time, Mr. White, Sniper McSnipe Man in the white van that shot his ass, this motherfucker left a note with his phone number and a demand for $10 million. He left that shit for the police on a tree behind the Ponderosa. Sound like Sniper McSnipe Man is getting bored. Not bored enough to stop shooting motherfuckers, but bored because the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious task force ain't no fun. They not playing the game right, you know? Well, too bad, because on October 22nd, 35-year-old Conrad Johnson, he was a bus driver. Conrad was just standing on the top steps of his bus when somebody busted a whole cap in his ass. I'm talking about just out here trying to do his goddamn job for the city, drive his bus, and get the fuck home. Ain't that a bitch? Man, Sniper McSnipe Man left another note too, still demanding that $10 million and a phone number talking about, hey, it's some Jodeci shit. Y'all come and talk to me. You know what I mean? Come on, Mr. McSnipe Man, you can't be doing that, because New Orleans Nation, please understand the chaos and the fear that is gripping the nation, because at this point, it's national news. Who knows what these motherfuckers will pop up next? The people want this white Sniper McSnipe Man brought to justice and off the goddamn streets. And the authorities, they pissed off because this motherfucker is playing with them. So, you know, they're balls to the walls trying to find this white man that's out here killing all these innocent people all across America. When I tell y'all that there were hundreds, I mean hundreds of investigators and police officers, all these different people from law enforcement all over the country that formed this supercalifragilisticexpialidocious task force. I mean, they had everybody in that bitch. The local PD and the sheriffs, the FBI, the ATF, shit, NBC, ABC, hell, they had everybody on deck. They even had Miss Cleo up and on some, call me now. Yeah, no, I'm silly. The ATF, they was processing the bullets. Every crime scene, they get the bullets to the ATF. The ATF was like, yep, they all the same. They all the same. They all the same. They're coming from a Bushmaster AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. So they know that this white man is using an AR-style rifle. And that's what them white men like to use anyway, right? So this is all in line. It's all lining up. And now it's time to criminal minds this thing. You know, we got to get the BAU back and let them to go over each and every one of these crime scenes, because the answer to this riddle is there. We can find out who this criminal is. We just need to go back and retrace the steps. And you know what? Let's start with the crime scene in Alabama, since McSnipe Man can't stop talking about the shit. You know, I'm talking about the robberation and the murderation of the store clerks at the liquor store. Remember them two ladies? Well, they go back and they look at the evidence that they collected. Well, there was an empty clip that had a fingerprint on it. How the fuck you leave a clip? Or whatever. They left the clip, and it turns out the fingerprint belonged to Lee Malvo. Remember, he went to migrant jail, and they got his fingerprints then. But you know, they was like, wait a minute, wait. This is a teenage Jamaican boy. Ain't no motherfucking way this is the sniper McSnipe Man. Get the fuck out of here. You know that's the first thing that everybody said. Come on now. Y'all know they are always discounting us. The myth is always there first. Black people don't commit these types of crimes. Bullshit. The evidence is slapping the shit out of you, and you still won't believe. But you know, they do their due diligence. They dig a little deeper. And then they find out that Lee Malvo is connected to an old head with a Muslim name named John Muhammad. Oh, shit. Shit. Wait a minute. John was in the military. Oh, shit. That nigga nice with a rifle. Wait. His ex-wife say he a killer, and you ain't gotta push him. Well, I be goddamn. You mean to tell me that these is the motherfuckers that got everybody shook? Surely is. And now look at you. Y'all all got the duck face. Because all you been doing is telling everybody to be on the lookout for this white man in a white truck. And it turns out it's two niggas in a 1990 blue Caprice. The irony of it all is two black men riding around in a cop car, shooting at motherfuckers across the country. Had this motherfucker on lock for 23 days. Got everybody scared to go outside. Think about it. The only thing that keep us in the house since then was COVID. And these two niggas out here riding around bumping Master P in a Caprice, riding around getting it. And y'all ain't gave now thought in 23 days and 17,000 law enforcements that it could possibly be a black man. Keep on discounting us. Noir Nation, keep on believing that it's crimes that black people don't commit. Keep on. Just keep on. Now they know that there's some niggas out here doing all this shenanigans. They put their asses on super blast. Baby, October 23rd, 2002, they put out APB, special alerts. They got skyriders and planes and people setting up smoke signals and bat signals. Whatever it was, it had John Muhammad and Lee Malvo's picture and name on it and that blue Caprice. Well, you know, after that, the murderation came to an end the very next day. It really can't even be called the next day. Let's call it a few hours later, because this all happened, you know, after 3 o'clock on the 23rd. The motherfuckers was caught after midnight on the 24th. Like, baby, they wasn't wasting no time. If you don't remember nothing, you remember they caught the motherfuckers quick. Well, this is what I don't understand about this whole situation. Why the fuck didn't John and Lee get rid of this blue-ass police car? That shit is just beyond me. Because, I don't know. Like, why weren't y'all sleeping in the woods and shit? Y'all, these Negroes was asleep in the car at a motherfucking rest stop right outside of Frederick, Maryland. Nigga. Y'all hot as fish grease. And y'all all out in the open and shit. I mean, this is outside. You ain't think nobody was gonna see y'all in this blue Caprice that is all over the news? They did. And they did what anybody would do that's scared of a motherfucker that's riding around shooting the shit out of random people. They called the popo and dropped a dime on y'all ass. Well, it didn't take them long, baby, because at 3:19 a.m. on the 24th, I told y'all this was only hours after they realized who the fuck it was. 3:19 in the morning. all 17,000 of them goddamn police officers surrounded that goddamn car, ready to light that bitch up if they so much as flinched. But shit, 41-year-old John Allen Muhammad and 17-year-old Lee Boyd Malvo, they came quiet as some church mice. No smoke, no fight. None whatsoever. The gun with all them bodies on it, it's right there in the car. I mean, I don't know about you, but this feels anticlimactic, don't it? You know, like, I shouldn't it have ended like Cleo did and set it off? I mean, where is the blaze of glory, right? The authorities, y'all all around high-fiving and shit, talking about we got our man. But did you get your man, or did your man give himself up? I mean, because them niggas was asleep like a little baby in the car. Okay. A win is a win, I guess. Okay. So they processed the Caprice. Man, that motherfucker had been modified. And you know, unlike today's cars, the 1990 Caprice, it had a big old ass trunk, baby. And John had made it even bigger because he took the frame from behind the back seat completely out so that they could get in and out of the trunk without having to get out the car. Just crawl right through it. And then they put a little hole right above the license plate that they could just poke the tip of the gun out of. Had a stand and everything. It was a literal rolling sniper's nest. And what they would do is one would get in the trunk, and then the other one would be the eyes, telling the shooter when to pull the trigger exactly. Like I said, they would go out and they scouted places that didn't have a lot of people around because they didn't need no witnesses to see them pulling off after they did their fuckery. Genius if you think about it. Now, they get John and Lee to the station and they start interrogating the two of them, and both of them claim that they innocent. It ain't me. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care what you found. It wasn't me. Well, then they changed the tune, and then Lee Malvo, he said that he did all the shooting. John didn't do nothing but drive. And he did this because the thinking was that because he was a minor, they wouldn't give him the death penalty like they would have gave John good and grown ass. Well, that may be true, and as they are sent to their respective jail cells to wait on their respective trials, while the waiting is going on, they really got to get Lee Malvo in front of some mental health professionals. And I'm saying that's a good thing in my book because this young man, though he might be misguided than a motherfucker, he was not the mastermind. He did not plot this shit out. He was just following his leader, and the authorities wanted him to tell it all. And eventually he did. You know, once he was away from John Muhammad and realized the sheer magnitude of the caper that they had pulled and the exact type of trouble his ass was in, Lee woke the fuck up and started cooperating and became the star witness for the prosecution against John Allen Muhammad. And let me pause right here for a little know your history moment. You see, back in 1972, capital punishment was basically abolished because the Supreme Court ruled in a case, Furman versus Georgia. Basically, Furman was suing Georgia saying that the death penalty was cruel and unusual punishment because it wasn't administered fairly. And that's the key point. Niggas was getting their water turned off, and the paper plate nation was free to continue putting raisins in a potato salad. And so the Supreme Court was like, yeah, I guess you're kind of right. And so they told the states, get your shit together, come up with some clear standards for what crimes committed will bring the disconnections. And then you need to also let us know exactly how the disconnections are going to be going down. And so for the next 3 and some change years, that's exactly what the states did. And they got it back on and popping in 1976. Well, even though it was okay to smoke a bitch, some states was still kind of dragging their feet about the actual flipping the switch to kill a bitch. And, you know, some other states, though, let's just say they had a to-do list and they was booked and busy, baby. Okay, so history lesson open. I just wanted to get that little tidbit of information because it's about to be pertinent in just a second. So you got to know that these niggas done killed all these people as audaciously as they did. They got to go. They got to go. You cannot stay here no longer. And peep this, DC, where the nickname came from, they don't really do that death penalty shit. And Maryland, where they was criming it up too, they did do the death penalty shit, but only a little bit. You see, they had only executed like 3 people since the reinstatement of eye for an eye justice. But Virginia, oh baby, Virginia is with all the shits. And you see, that's why you better know where you at before you set some shit off, before you fuck around and find out. Please understand, Virginia will send you to Jesus expeditiously, honey. And unlike most states, they don't give a fuck if you a minor. Let them cook. Shit. Since the reinstatement of the capital punishment, Virginia had disconnected 86 people, second only to Texas, who's, Texas always been quick to send their ass on to glory. So, of all the states that had a dog in the fight, that had victims, and this includes Arizona, Alabama, Louisiana, Washington State, and Georgia. But Virginia was the best place to try their ass because it was guaranteed that they would fry. So when it was all said and done, Washington State, Arizona, and Georgia, they said, you know what? We just gonna let all this shit slide, and we're gonna let Virginia get our lick back for us. So that was basically the feeling. We ain't even gonna prosecute our crimes that happened in our states. We just gonna let Virginia handle everything. And so that's what it was. John went to trial in October of 2003 for killing Dean Myers. And they had moved his trial because of all the publicity to Virginia Beach. And that nigga John said he was going to be his own attorney. Good luck with that. He did, but he then also let the court-appointed attorneys come back and be his backup because he was out of his depth a little bit in that courtroom. And that's good. That's okay. You got a right to represent yourself. You need to have some backup, though, because you have been charged with murder, terrorism, conspiracy, and the illegal use of a firearm. Well, the prosecution put up more than 100 witnesses testifying that nigga did it. But I mean, let's be real. They could have put up the cast of Sesame Street up there on the stand, and the jury was gonna convict that ass. Like, it wasn't no way this nigga was gonna skate on a goddamn thing. Ain't no way. It ain't no way. Honey. And John's defense, simple. Y'all ain't seen shit, so y'all don't know shit, so you don't know it was me. Man, sometimes these defense strategies be tripping me the fuck out. Like, I mean, they went in that direction because they felt like since the authorities were so hell-bent on taking the case to trial in Virginia to kill John, but they were going to try to use Virginia's law against them because Virginia's got a trigger man law. And it's just like it sounds. To put a bitch to death, they have to be the trigger man. John, like, you don't know who pulled the trigger. You can't say I pulled the trigger. I'm telling you I didn't pull the trigger. That nigga over there told you he did pull the trigger. So, John was like, you can lock me up, but you can't kill me. Let me tell you something. Virginia was like, oh yeah, watch me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Virginia was like, watch me. I can show you better than I can tell you, bitch. Oh, this is not funny. Now stop it. On November 17, 2003, they convicted John Allen Muhammad on all counts. And he got his formal invitation to the upper room on March 9, 2004. But y'all know these death penalty cases, they automatically go through appeals. So it's going to be a little matter of time before John actually gets to see this sentence carried out. But please understand, each and every one of his appeals denied. Every last one of them hoes. In the meantime, and in between appeals, John still got static with the state of Maryland. They want a little piece of that ass too. But Virginia was like, hey man, slow your roll. We got this. And Maryland was like, I know, but we just want to be ready just in case some shit happens. We want to just kind of be like a backup plan. We ain't trying to stop what you got going on, but it's better to be over-prepared than surprised on appeal. So Virginia thought about it and was like, you know what? Okay. We gonna let his ass come out to come holler at y'all. But as soon as y'all get through, we want that ass retch back here. Retch back. I don't know why I feel so silly on this episode, y'all. I'm sorry. So John Allen Muhammad goes through the motions of another trial in Maryland in 2006. And shocker, they found him guilty of 6 counts of murder and gave him a ceremonial 6 life sentences just in case he was resurrected like Lazarus. You come back in this bitch, we'll be right here waiting on you. Stop, Nate. When it was all said and done, they disconnected John Allen Muhammad from the Matrix on November 10th, 2009 with a needle stick to the arm. Now, Lee Malvo, on the other hand, he pled down to lesser charges in exchange for turning on John. He went to trial on 10 counts of capital murder in December of 2003. Of course, he was found guilty on all counts, and he was sentenced to life without parole for each one of the counts. Eventually, his sentence would be changed to life with parole because he was a minor when the crimes were committed. Lee Boyd Malvo is inmate number 1180834 at the Kim Mountain Correctional Center. He is 40 years old now, and over the years, he has actually reached out to the families and apologized for his actions. And to that, we say, nigga, fuck you and your apology. But okay. Okay. And y'all, this is like the cherry on this shit show. This nigga also got married in 2020. Yes, I said it, married. He got hitched. Yes, honey. This motherfucker's free as a bird and can't find the lid to their pot. And this nigga is a whole ass convict. Never, ever, ever gonna be able to breathe free air and got a whole ass wife. I can't even drag this hoe. But all I can say is, girl, whoever you may be, Miss Malvo, you need to go see Iyanla immediately. 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 Lee has gone up for parole and has been denied. And I have this to say to you, nigga, they ain't gonna never let you out. Never, ever, 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 never. You're gonna be in prison for the rest of your life, honey. You might as well stop trying because you are truly wasting time. Whew, that was a story, wasn't it? That was a lot. Like, just to get all of the victims in, y'all, I had to really, really just like cut it down. I can't give you no extra ad-libs because, I mean, this episode is definitely going to be over an hour. Which, side note, I know I'm working on a Samuel Little episode, and I know that's gonna have to be 2 or 3 episodes because there is no way I can do proper justice to a story like that with all those victims and do it in under an hour. It's just not gonna even work. That don't have anything to do with this week's story, but I'm just saying it was a lot of victims to talk about, and I couldn't get into them like how I normally do because I wanted to get them all in and not be here for like 2 hours, right? Now, on the scale of mayhem, John and Lee rank pretty damn high. It's one thing to kill people. Like, it's a sad and unfortunate fact that happens every day. But it's a whole nother level of diabolicalness to have society lock itself down because you out here criming it up with the audacity turned up to the 10th power. I mean, think about it. Schools kept the kids indoors, no recess, no hanging outside. They stopped the extracurricular activities because it wasn't safe to be outdoors before, during, or after school. Outdoor activities of any type were avoided unless it was absolutely necessary because people were afraid to go outside for fear of catching a bullet in their ass. And the thought of the shenanigans you pulling got everybody on lock. You an audacious motherfucker. And John Muhammad and Lee Malvo were some audacious motherfuckers. John had a plan to kill his wife. And to cover his tracks, he thought the best way to do it was a killing spree across the country so that when he shot her, the authorities would attribute her death to the white man serial snipers that were killing people at random. I mean, hey man, the plan was legit. If they had a few more days, if they had stayed in the woods, they might have would have pulled that shit off. If Lee Malvoy's fingerprint hadn't been found at that crime scene in Alabama, they would have pulled it off. And here's the other thing. If they had not called the authorities and told them to look into that crime in Alabama, they never would have looked because it was a different gun used in Alabama. Yes. They told them that Alabama was connected. The authorities, the Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Task Force, they didn't know that Alabama was their crime. So theoretically, if they had just kept their mouths shut, they could have still been out here sniping McSnipe Man, right? Because the authorities and everybody would still be looking for a white man. Baby, honey, that's diabolical as fuck. They killed and wounded all those people to get at one person. And you know what? Speaking of killing, How about Lee Malvo told the authorities that they had killed an additional 14 people between California, Arizona, and Texas that the authorities didn't know about. So we're talking about almost 40 people shot, wounded, fucked up, killed. That's a lot of bodies. Ooh, honey, that's a whole lot of other crime we just don't do, right? Okay. Keep believing we don't do it. Now I got two more things to say. Two things, right? First of all, the VA has got to do better by our veterans. Full stop. When humans are sent into the battlefield, they come out fucked up. I don't care what. If they go into the battlefield fucked up, they come out of the battlefield even more fucked up. And they need support and guidance and help to help them get themselves back to themselves. Not a empty thank you for your service and a you will be all right. I mean, countless veterans are hurting and suffering in silence. Homelessness, PTSD and out, just lost in the world. We have got to do better by our veterans. And number two, this nigga John Muhammad, he kind of had the perfect storm going on in his life that made it easier for him to be radicalized. I mean, he was disillusioned after fighting for his country, and he was maladjusted to civilian life. And after spending almost 2 decades in a military type of environment, his marriage crumbled because of this, in my opinion. I mean, he was shit for a husband, but they say he was a good dad. Even his wives, they say he was a good daddy. And I think that when he lost his kids, that was the beginning of the end. Now, again, I am not making any excuses for him because he a whole grown ass man, and I don't rep for nobody like that except for my own children. This was a whole grown ass man who knew he was doing wrong. But I can still, as a human being myself, I can still recognize how outside forces kind of help put the gun in his hand. And I say all that to say this: John Allen Muhammad is not alone. There are countless other humans in similar situations. There are countless other humans, black ones and white ones and Mexican ones and Chinese ones and all kind of ones that are fed up with systems that got their foot on their neck. And pressure bust pipes. Eventually, some of those people, they snap and they crash the fuck out. And I just want my people to understand that we are included in that number. We are. And as you can see with this story, it's real easy for one of ours to do some fuck shit like this and nobody even give a thought that we could be behind it, which means they get to do that shit with impunity, just out here doing it. The police ran up on John and Lee. They didn't give them one thought. What if the profile had said it's just a human being? This is a person that might be in their car, black or white, right? Maybe some of this DC shit wouldn't have even started. It wouldn't have even gone as far as it did. But no, the discounting of it all, the myth of it all is always there first. So my people end up as collateral damage. And that ain't right. Y'all, we got to do better. But I'm going to just say, that has been a lot. And that, New Orleans Nation, was the story of John Allen Muhammad and Lee Boyd Malvo, a.k.a. the DC Snipers. I can't wait to hear what y'all got to say about this one on social media. I love all of your feedback each and every week. And if you don't know, let me tell you, you can get at me on any of the social medias. I am Melanin Mayhem Podcast or Melanin Mayhem PC. Just start typing Melanin Mayhem. You gonna see me, baby. That pretty black and white logo gonna pop up for you on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and X. If you have not done so, please go ahead and join that Facebook discussion group. I don't know what you waiting on. Procrastination is out in 2025. We get it in over there, and they always get the juicy details before anybody else. Coming up still, we've got next month, June 7th, the community event at the Atlanta Auburn Avenue Research Library in beautiful downtown Atlanta. Yours truly will be leading a discussion about the Atlanta child murder murders and the role that Wayne Williams played. This is a free event, so if you are in the city, come on out and talk with the country girl. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a bop. It's gonna be a whole bop. We also, let's see, anything else coming up? Y'all, teaser, I am working on merchandise. There will be t-shirts, and there will be tank tops, and there will be hats, and there will be tumblers. It is coming. I am securing the things. I have come up with all of the designs, and now I'm just trying to get my my distributor right so I can do it. This is a one-man band, right? So when I open up the doors of the church for your tithes and your offerings, just be ready. Just be ready. I think y'all are gonna like it. I really do. I took what you've been saying and I took it to heart. So we're gonna see if y'all gonna put y'all money where y'all mouth at. And let's see, what do we have to do? We've got to do this week's shout out. This week's New Orleans Nation shout out goes to Future Side Hustler, who left a review on Apple. Future Side Hustler said, I love this podcast. Found out about it on the SWK discussion board. I often find myself saying, what happened, Nay? Laugh out loud. I love her. It's like connecting with a friend. Keep on, girl. Love it. I tell all my friends. Well, Future Side Hustler, I sure appreciate it, honey. Love, love, love. Kisses and hugs all around. Keep sharing me in the group chat, y'all. You know, this sharing is caring is the motto for 2025. Don't forget, you can reach out to me if social media is not your ministry. My email is always open to you. You can send me your thoughts, your suggestions at melaninmayhempodcast at gmail.com. Now, like I said, this episode is extremely long. You know, I like to keep them at an hour. So I have got to get in here and figure out what kind of magic I can string up for y'all. This week, y'all might get some breath because, ooh, Lord. Y'all not be trying to edit out all the breath sounds so that it's just completely clean. But humans breathe, and it's okay for you all to hear me breathe. I want to give a shout out before I go to my BTCC, the Black True Crime Collective, my partners in crime. We're talking about Melanin Mysteries, Not My Brother's Keeper, and a sip of red rum. If you don't know about my peoples, you need to get into them, honey, because it's all kinds of true crime storytellers, honey, and you need to get into it. We got a little bit of something for everybody. So I'm going to get out of here because I really need to get in the lab and cut this thing up. But before I go, I need to make sure that y'all know I need y'all to be safe. I need y'all to stay vigilant. And above all else, remember this. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. It's one love, New One Nation, and the country girl is out of here.